Hello and welcome to BBC World News. Myanmar's ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi has appeared at a court hearing, the first time her lawyers have seen her since she was detained in last month's coup. Ms Suu Kyi, who hasn't been seen in public since the military takeover, is reported to be in good health. Her supporters have again marched in several towns and cities in defiance of a crackdown. This is what has been happening in the main city of Yangon on Monday. Police used stun grenades and tear gas to disperse hundreds of protesters. It follows the violence on Sunday when police fired on crowds in several places, killing at least 18 people. Myanmar has been in chaos since the military seized power after alleging fraud in November's election. Well, as we said, Aung San Suu Kyi has appeared in court on Monday. Her lawyer has told the BBC that he wasn't even allowed to look at his client, who was on a video link.
We cannot have any access to the court to look at the screen on the side of the court to look at her face, Aung San Suu Kyi's face, because the judge said we are not permitted because we didn't have up to that time the power of attorney from her.
That's Aung San Suu Kyi's lawyer there. Well, earlier I spoke to Hannah, a protester from Yangon, who told me what the situation is like on the streets.
I've been on the street since the whole thing starts, and I've been on the streets like before the previous days to protest and to donate foods. And yesterday I was in Sanjiang, which was targeted yesterday. Yeah, I was at Sanjiang yesterday.
You say that you've been on the streets for some time now. Just tell us how the mood has shifted and changed in these last few days and this past week.
Okay. At first, until a few weeks ago, people are protesting peacefully every day on the roads, and until last week, as far as I remember, they started breaking the crowds with tear gas, sound bombs, and smoke bombs, and everything. Yeah, it has really changed a lot. They have really been violent since then.
Yeah, and we're showing our viewers some pictures from yesterday's protests and how there has been more police and military presence on the streets. Are you scared to go out?
Of course I am. I'm a girl also, and of course so many people on the street are also very young. Some of them are 17, 18, even the people who go out to protest with me. Yeah, I am scared, but we still have to fight for the democracy that we want.
Which is the question I was going to get to. Given it's getting so dangerous, why do you keep going out onto the streets?
Me and my fellow protester will fight until we get our leaders back and the democracy we want. So we will still go out until we want because the government right now is not legitimate for all the Myanmar citizens. This is not acceptable. So we have to go out on the roads, despite the COVID and everything, for the freedom, for the democracy.
You're an architect. Are there many of your colleagues who are also protesting? Just tell us about the makeup of those out in the streets.
Yes, there are Architect Association, an official association, and they have made an official statement that they will stand with all the people, all the civilians, and all the people who are doing civil disobedience movement right now. And yesterday, there was a strike. There was an engineer and architects combined together. There was a strike.
That was Hannah, one of the protesters I spoke to a little earlier. We also spoke to Tin Tao Sway, a Myanmar analyst and former BBC Burmese service editor. She told me why so many are continuing to defy the military government.
They have seen what it was like living under the military rule. Their parents had lived through that period, their grandparents had lived through that period. And they themselves suffer a great deal in education, for example. They had to catch up after the country opened up in 2010. In fact, effectively in 2015, when the civilian government came into power. So they know that if they give in this time, they're going to spend their life like how their parents had spent their life under so many restrictions.
The military has been warning for some weeks now that they would crack down on demonstrators if they didn't get off the streets. We really are now seeing a difference in tactic, far more violent.
It's likely that there'll be more violent, and the more violence in the street. The military will not back away from it. We have seen it over and over, and the military will make sure that the public is frightened and would not come out into the street again. But as you heard from the protester just now, they are defiant. They're not going to give in easily. So what's going to happen now? So the people are waiting for the international community to impose more pressure on the military. And international community is taking punitive measures, sanctions. But they want more than that. They want UN Security Council to come in. They want UN Security Council to impose a coordinated global arms embargo on Myanmar. They want these UN member states to do this. And UN Security Council can do it. Another thing they would like is to bring the military to the International Criminal Court. And that they have collecting enough evidence, and they're hoping that they could convince the United Nations Security Council to refer Myanmar case to the International Criminal Court.